I really do apologize.
I would just go straight in, to be perfectly honest.
I'm thinking about wearing my contenders cap, but I've got a headset on, and that's not going to quite work. Maybe if I just sit it on the shoulder, like a parrot.
Okay. We should,
That's
but I
probably
need
smart.
links before I can do any of that. Yeah, I'm just grabbing it now. 5 podcast Overwatch. Live reaction to. No, I like that. Nice. Share. Copy. Tweetar.
Someone said Magda Dynasty, please. Yeah, I like that's being announced today.
We are now. Well, hello.
2023 season. I'm Zoikshin, and
They
joining
couldn't
me
afford to have Matt in
once again
studio.
for the occasion are the men we
Unlucky.
love
Oh, no.
and know, Sean Miller
Unlucky.
and
So I'm gonna have to turn
Matt
Jeff
in a box.
right the way.
Hey, so Ian,
Those
Sean,
are
how's
some
it
nice
going?
chairs, though.
Now I'm sure everyone at
Oh,
home
just drop
watching
them.
is
Mr.
as
Jeff,
excited as
turn
I am
Ocean
about
down
the
to
upcoming season,
0.
and we just can't wait
Perfect.
to hear some information about it. So
Not
Sean, what
very
you got for
nice.
us?
Well, season 6 of the Overwatch League is going to be truly special, and we've been putting a ton
Alright.
of work behind the scenes to pull off some of the biggest changes we've ever
Okay.
made. We're building the season to be anchored by 2 global LAN events, one in the mid-season and one in the postseason.
Oh.
This effectively splits up the season into 2
Can I-
halves.
Global?
We'll have our 2 regions again.
I
Now for the
was
first
saying
time
this
ever,
when we
a
got the
select
news that there was
number
going to
of
be this
Eastern region
co-stream
contenders
thing,
teams will be able to
and I got
qualify
a,
to
oh no,
play
that's probably not
against
going to happen,
Owl
Phil.
Pros
Phil,
in
that'll never
official
happen.
Owl competition.
And here we are.
For the West, we're adding an
Powers of
opportunity for
clairvoyance.
contenders and the league to play against each other too.
I mean, wow. Didn't expect any of that, so that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I have questions
That's
about
a
how
lot.
this fits.
It sounds amazing. Now, I do want to know how those contenders teams
When O2
will be
Blast wins the
integrated
Overwatch
into
League.
our
No, 2 Blast
Wait, what?
It'll
wins
be
Overwatch
amazing.
League.
The way it'll work is a funnel up through Open Division and Contenders, where we'll have a series of tournaments in 3 regions: Korea, Asia Pacific, and Australia, New Zealand. The winners of these tournaments will earn spots in the OWL qualifiers.
Well, that's awesome for the contenders teams.
Okay, that's
and
pretty
for us
cool.
They
to
all
watch that.
qualify.
Now, I do want to know, what are the OWL teams
They don't get a
in the East
permanent
doing
spot,
during that
obviously.
time?
Our OWL teams will be playing a round robin to determine seeding for the knockout stages.
I heard that phrase a lot now, knockouts. What exactly are they in this context?
That's
This is where the
wild.
Overwatch League teams and our contenders teams
That
will
is
fight for
crazy.
qualification to the mid-season madness.
So as you can see, there's tons
What?
of exciting changes
Wait,
in the East.
yeah, what?
I can't wait to get more bracket play, more inclusion, more intense competition, culminating all with the best 2 teams making it to mid-season madness. I mean, with this format,
Same
like
as
high stakes
Pro-Am.
nearly every single week.
Can I look?
So
I
that's,
just,
I guess,
I
what's
was,
going
I was
on
right.
in
I
the
was
East
right, and I
up until
demand.
mid-season. We do have
I
to
don't know.
talk about the
Where?
West, what we got for them.
The Western region will kick off with
like,
a
oh,
Pro-Am
they have a
on March
Pro-Am in
23rd,
Call
with
of Duty
opening the
League. Why don't
ecosystem a
we
little
have
bit
that
more
here?
in the
Ah, no,
East.
Phil, it'll never
We felt
happen.
it was
The teams will
important
never
to
go
give
for
teams
it.
in both NA and Europe an opportunity to compete against OWL teams as well.
So to
My dog
recap,
is howling.
we
That's
do have
nice.
contenders teams
Your mic's not
joining
picking
OWL
up
teams
what
for
it's worth.
official play in the East, and we're gonna have the
Ooh.
Pro-Am tournament in the West with contenders
That
teams.
is
But when
right around
does
the
the
corner.
actual OWL season begin?
Right. So regular
Regular season for all OWL teams kicks off on April 27th.
and that'll run in the West for 5 weeks before a Western regional
Does
knockout
raise some
round.
questions
Teams will play
about
8 games over those
what
5
is happening
weeks,
with some
the
of
top
our
2 in record
teams in the
qualifying for the
East.
mid-season madness. 4 from the West and the top 2
This
from
is
the
ra-
East that
this
we
is
talked about
crazy.
earlier would make up the field for our first international event of the year in a 6-team double elimination bracket. And stay tuned, because mid-season madness will be a live global event at a location we'll reveal when details are finalized.
Well, this is gonna be so hype. I'm
Oh,
already
good.
hype, actually. I can't wait.
We have a full season.
Now that covers us all until the mid-season event. What's gonna happen after that, though?
We'll have a second half.
Awesome.
Of the season.
Love that.
And so after mid-season madness, I'm sure we'll all need a bit of a break. So there's some time built in where we'll have World Cup qualifiers. Actually, I'm super excited for that.
Okay.
And from there, right after World Cup, we'll go into the second half of the season.
The summer stage mirrors the spring half outside of no Pro-Am in the West, so straight to circuit play for those teams. In the East, same thing, but the best performing contenders teams in the spring stage will hold their spots going into the summer stage, so that'll affect
Oh
how many
my
teams
God.
qualify into knockouts from contenders.
Wow.
So,
Exactly.
so the best
And from
contenders
there,
team hold
we'll
a
go
spot
right
in
into the
Overwatch. League.
playoff knockout rounds
That's
in both regions,
wild. Wait,
into our
what?
international playoffs.
That's what you just
ultimately
said.
culminating in
I
a
need this written
2023
down.
Yeah, no, this
Yeah.
is really
Wow.
confusing.
The happy feet.
I'm sure
What a
Liz
season
is
we have for this
about
year.
to
Liz,
hit go
you're the
on
best
an article.
journalist.
All the information.
Fix us up
any
after
last words
this.
you have.
I just want to say thank you, and again, share how excited I am to have come this far. These are changes that I think are just going to make for the most amazing competition.
I like
year.
this.
We're going to have these two
Okay,
global
I
live
think Ash
events,
has an article
and
out as
I
well.
think it's going to knock all our socks off.
Should make it exciting for us and for fans, and
'cause
really excited to
Ash
see contenders included in
retweeted
the
an
East, some
article
real
with-
superstars there.
Hey,
Well, that's
anybody
it
remember
for
last
us
night's
today,
leftovers and how it
but
was a
thank you
big
guys
fucking
so
deal
much
that
for
the team
sharing all
beat
the
under the team that
information,
had
getting us
formal
hyped
OWL
up
org support?
for
No reason,
the
no
upcoming
reason.
season. But for now, that's
Right,
it for
if
us.
I
Please like
ping
and subscribe to
a
the channel, and we're
link,
going to
Jeff,
see you
let's
very
see
soon.
if we can
Goodbye.
get this up on, hopefully this has some of the graphics in it.
That was it?
That
What
was
the
it.
heck?
I thought it was going to be like a 40-minute thing. No, 5 minutes. It was great.
Well, we have
It
time
was-
to react, don't we?
We
That,
do
that-
have time to react.
No, we need specifics on this because I think we missed a bit of it in the sense of we were just bamboozled, right?
Yeah.
We were just bamboozled, straight up.
Let's watch this again.
Welcome,
Can we do
everybody,
that?
to
Can we?
Yeah, we can make whatever content we want around this. It is a somewhat different.
What do we do? I'm so confused.
What's the best way for us to share this, Jeff?
Hey, Zoe and Sean, how's it going?
Now I'm sure everyone at home watching is
What? I'm so
excited.
confused,
I am
but so
about
happy at the
upcoming
same
season,
time.
And we just can't wait to hear some information about it. So Sean,
Oh,
what
there
you
we go.
got for
Thanks,
us?
Well, season 6 of
Pad.
the Overwatch League is going
Pad's
to be
got the
truly
link in the
special,
actual
and
format
We've been putting
thing.
a ton
Okay.
of work behind the scenes.
It might be
Oh,
easier just to read
Paddington,
through this rather than try and go
absolute
through the
Team
video.
building is going to be
Absolute
anchored by
beast.
two
Thank you so
global
much.
LAN events, one in the mid-season and one in the
Okay.
season. This effectively splits up the
Oh,
season
that's-
into two halves.
hold on.
We'll have our 2 regions
Yeah,
again,
no worries. No
but
rush.
now for the first time ever.
Oh, we've lost
a
Ocean. He
select
was
number
so
of
excited. He's
Western
gone. He's
regions
back
will
again.
be able to
That's like
qualify
joined the
to
Horton
play
Smugglers
against the
channel.
OWL Pros
Ah,
in
fun.
official OWL competitions.
Oh.
Yeah,
In
this is the
West, we're adding an
full
opportunity for
breakdown.
contenders
Okay.
and the league to
Okay,
play
so we've got
against
text
each other.
version gamers.
Yeah.
And we're
I
gonna go
think
through
we're
it.
just waiting on Jeff getting it on screen, I believe. We don't have a preview from Jeff today.
I'm a little
Also,
bit
is
confused.
this my first time on the podcast this year?
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Now I do want to know.
I guess so.
What did I do? I think I did. Did I not do the first one? I'm sure
I
I've
don't
done
remember.
one since
Maybe,
Christmas.
maybe. This is a good time to have a contenders cap, by the way. Go and buy
It
one.
is, yeah.
They're nice. I got
We'll
mine
have
for
a
free,
series of
but
tournaments in 3 regions:
yeah.
Korea,
Thank you.
Asia Pacific, and Australia, New Zealand.
Oh god, it won't go over the ponytail. There we go. Close enough.
I'm rating this. I'm very
The winners of
confused,
these
but
tournaments
we'll
will earn
see.
Spots in the OWL qualifiers.
Well, that's awesome
I
for the
accidentally was
contenders
wearing
teams and
contenders
for us,
colours to
and we
start
get
with.
watch that. Now,
Nice.
I
I
wanna
just
know,
didn't realise it.
What are the OWL teams in the East doing during that time?
Our
I mean,
OWL teams
so-
will be playing a round robin to determine
A
seeding
thought that I've
for the
had for a
knockout
long
stages.
time with regards to the Overwatch League, and I got to be careful, I don't want this to sound like criticism, is Overwatch League coming in as a franchise system as early as it did in Pro Overwatch. For my money,
I think it was a little too early.
put an artificial cap on how far you could go as an amateur player, because
Or like a seemingly one, like obviously there's examples.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
go
yeah, but
against
no,
that, right? But a
let
seeming
me
cap,
let
yeah.
me finish my thought, which is let's go back to the alternate universe where Clockwork Vendetta make their run through to the top of contenders and come out top. That's it. Like individual players might get picked up, but
Okay,
for
I
a team
see.
like Clockwork Vendetta, they were all one trick. So like the team wasn't going to get picked up, the individuals weren't going to get picked up, and like that is as far as they go. Because if you look at some other scenes that have a slightly more organic structure, things that were sort of set up before franchise system became de rigueur for esports, is you would have a team of mates that got together and became kind of good, and then they became a team and they started to get some wins under the belt, and then they got some proper coaching and they got signed to an org, and like then they could become like the best team in the world. And like it feels like we just have two different sections of doing that. Like we have the amateur version. I use amateur very loosely for like contender stuff, and then you have the pro version, which is the Overwatch League. And like I like more meshing together of the point where those two things intersect. I think that's really, really good for Overwatch esports.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult as well, because realistically, when you have the franchising, I think this has been a problem more as of recent, where you have these big Overwatch League teams. Some of them don't have the best scouting, so even if you're at the top of your game in tier 2, you might not get picked up, right? And I think that's maybe where we now have this, and why we now have this system.
Yeah,
because I think in the last year, I think that's been one big issue. I think it was maybe apparent in previous seasons for some players in tier 2, but you could just kind of say maybe they didn't do well in trials, etc. But I think in the past year, it's been really, really rough to get into the Overwatch League. I mean, one example, we currently don't think Top Dragon is an Overwatch League team. He's one of the best Lux DPS in the world. So yeah.
So whilst you've been talking, I've brought up. I was right. Liz did have an article lined up and ready to fire. I think this is very interesting phrasing, and it sounds to me like it's come from somewhere. While the West region will remain relatively similar to previous years, the East region will feature a more open ecosystem in which Overwatch contenders or OD teams can fight to the right to compete alongside Overwatch
Do we have
League
numbers
teams.
in terms of how many contenders teams?
I'm hoping that the actual Overwatch League site update will have that. So if we're good to go on that, do you want to have a go through the main points? Cool. So, season was split into spring and summer stages. Fine, cool. Mid-season madness and grand finals are going to be global LAN events. Cool. Still split into east and west. There's the quotation. More open ecosystem that offers the opportunity for select contenders teams to qualify for and participate in Overwatch League play.
Does that mean we could theoretically get a like Shock versus O2 Blast finals?
Wouldn't that be? No, because they're in different. Yeah, because by the time we come to the global finals, then they could take their. That would be wild.
That would be wild.
Just you know what? One thing
Jeff,
I have to bring up.
1 second, Ethan. Jeff, could you zoom in slightly, please, according to our wandering mod?
That's fine. One thing I want to quickly bring up is I bet Talon are kicking themselves right now.
Yeah.
I suppose they could just win. I suppose they could just win events.
Let's see. I suppose I can just.
It's a more open ecosystem, so talent comes back and just comes back in, right?
Yeah. It's nothing stopping them coming back. They went, we've had enough. Like suddenly, this maybe becomes a much more attractive prospect, and like they go, only kidding about leaving Overwatch.
But can we go down already to the spring stage format, because this is where we learn things.
Jeff needs to give you the okay on that. He's in charge of scrolls.
Yes, I'm in the process of trying to zoom this in. 1 second.
Understood. I very much understand.
Oh yeah, like if it ever sounds like we are like shouting at Jeff to get stuff done, it's not how it's intended. It's like it's just piling up a list of things that need to happen because he is the one that has all the dials and levers. We have none of that.
Yeah.
I mean, all I've got is a contenders cap, some batteries.
Throw batteries at Jeff.
I wasn't going to do that. And a bowl of. There's nothing in the bowl.
I
was hoping there was something
battery with batteries.
It would be, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Just Just wanted to throw that out there.
And then I could be
Oh, I
charged
actually
with
have
something.
got. I have got another.
All right.
I actually do. I do have another thing right here.
Polarizing jokes aside.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah,
I
let's
have-
try and return to the news, shall we?
Sure. Now
I
that I've got
know,
it up,
I
we
know.
can go back to talking about it and stop it.
Okay, so we've done first 2 points. Overwatch League competition returns March 23rd with a 3-week Pro-Am tournament in the West. So I think that's also going to be really interesting. So this doesn't have the same follow through as it does in the East. It's just like, I think, a thing that is fun with maybe some cash on the line for contenders teams, which does suggest we should be getting something contenders focused in between now and March the 23rd.
I suppose. That's a really good question. I mean, are we going to have any kind of path? Like, where are they getting this? Is this going to be from Run It Back? How are teams to qualify for this? I mean, there's a lot of
getting it back for Run It Back is going to be rough because there are people that got picked up. There are teams that haven't had the chance to do anything since Run It Back, and we're already at nearly 2 months since Run It Back.
Yeah.
I think we've got to be having an announcement shortly about some sort of tournament coming through, at the very least for NA teams.
So we got competition in the West. We'll kick off with let's scroll up a little bit actually to the East and start with the spring stage format.
We're still above that, mate. You've zoomed ahead. We're going off the bullet points.
yeah.
Ah, boring.
Yeah, I'm curious. I have a lot of questions on how they're going to decide what contenders teams are qualifying for Pro-Am. I mean, and like you're saying, like Odyssey basically got picked apart.
Odyssey's. I imagine Odyssey's seed will be with Murray though.
I mean, that's
Just a
another. Do collegiate teams? Obviously, Redbirds, should get an invite to this. But can collegiate teams, get into this as well? And
I think
if
an
so,
argument is
how?
should they as well.
I think this has been very clear about saying contenders.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that unless you have those instances where there is Redbirds contenders and Redbirds collegiate. I don't think collegiate gets a look in at this. I think it's just going to be contenders teams.
Well, I mean, I could totally see Maryville just throwing their roster into contenders this year.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're saying surely we have to get something between now and Pro-Am, right? Because otherwise there's a whole swathe of people that just don't get a look in at this because of how things have been timed.
And it'd be from
Yeah.
outdated rosters and stuff as well.
Yeah, totally.
Also, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but have we thought about how spot buying? If any spot buying happened recently, would we not be in a lot of trouble?
Potentially, which is why, again, I think that's another thing that hopefully points to another contenders tournament. Like the current contenders format is great in a way because it is so compact, you can stand them up fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So, we could get an announcement tomorrow, later today, to say, oh, by the way, it starts up again in 2 weeks, and great, we go from there. Oh, hang on, we got an update here from Paddington on LA Valiant.
Pat also asked in chat, what is
Oh!
a Pro-Am tournament?
Sorry?
Two things at a time. First, the one I was going on. LA Valiant returning to the West for 2023.
Oh.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Just threw that in there.
Yeah, that tweet went live the same time the Overwatch League announcement went live. That went 4 p.m. EST on the dot.
No, what's really interesting about that is, obviously, we are in the scene. I haven't heard about the Valiant giving anyone any offers.
Mm-mm. Maybe they are really last-minuting this, which is worrying, but
Hey,
great.
I mean, look, I think it's relatively positive news.
Yeah, and on the second point, Pad, Pro-Am is a pro-amateur tournament, so it pits the two groups, pros and amateurs, against each other. In this instance, amateurs being contenders players. I don't think it's really fair to call them amateurs, given the wealth of talent we have in contenders at the minute. So yeah, the Pro-Am is just a tier 1 meets tier 2 tournament, basically.
But obviously, in the East, we're seeing Eastern teams potentially be Overwatch League teams in a sense.
Yeah, potentially. It could happen.
Well, I mean, Valiant have gone back west, so there's one out of the pool.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that is part of what has precipitated this. Oh crap! We need some additional teams over in the east to
I
fill.
think
I don't
it
even
has
think
to.
it's
It has
that.
to. It all goes back to the NetEase thing falls.
Yeah.
I think my thing is more. Some of these Eastern contender teams are more competitive than our Eastern Overwatch League teams.
Do you really think that's true?
100%.
Are
I
we
think
talking contenders
Simpressic-
level? Are we talking contenders level, or are we talking Overwatch League level?
I think Simpressic Gaming and O2 Blast would have been in the top 4 of both of them would have been in the top 4. Maybe top 5.
think that is the only two teams you could make that argument for.
And I think T1 would have beat Guangzhou and Valiant. I think all the teams under 6th possibly could have done that.
Now, I have a question here. So they're going to be vying for spots in Overwatch League? Like, are they actually?
Well, that's what we think is happening. Well, not permanent spots, obviously.
And if so, like, how is this? This raises all sorts of questions with how the franchising works, age limits. Like, how is
maybe that's why it was 17 now.
Are going to play a part? Maybe. I thought they just changed that because, like, the law in Korea changed or something. There was a law that was keeping.
No, it's not. Nothing to do with that.
Yeah. So the Korean age change thing is there is a traditional way of reckoning your age in Korea, which is based on calendar year rather than date in the year that you were born. And there was this like news thing going around of like, oh, everyone in Korea just got a year older. What it actually meant was that they were going to implement the system that they already use for international events, which is that they use their date of birth as reckoned in most other countries in the world. So I don't think that the like age change thing in Korea really had an impact here.
Okay. I just know they happened at the same time.
They did.
The announcement for Al going to A17 happened like the day after that was announced for the Korean age change thing. All right, let's keep. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying, whenever we're ready, we can keep going through our bullet points here.
Bad Pachimari moves so fast. I don't know if we've got the time to put this up on stream.
Oh, no.
If you look at the last link that Pad sent through, that is
Oh no.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
I wish I had that guy's brain. He's so quick.
Right, can't have a more embarrassing season. Oh no. Oh, that gets a like. That gets a like.
So like, going through the big picture stuff, we'd made it 3 points down before getting wildly derailed. League standings no longer determined by league points, but rather overall record in regional qualifiers. Fine,
yes,
makes
no
a
more
certain
league
amount
points.
of sense.
Yeah.
I think given the fact that we have like 2 specific stages with 2 specific tournaments, I'm fine with that. I think whether we're having like more tournaments on like a regular drumbeat, I think having the point system rewards consistency over having a good stage to basically towards the end of the year. I don't know if that really changes much.
It is kind of
actually gamers. Sorry, I do want to interrupt you. A series of contenders tournaments in late February will qualify teams to join the teams in the West Overwatch League teams in a 20-team field.
Where are you seeing this?
West Region Pro-Am. I scrolled down a little bit, but I think that's important.
I need you to rein in the ADHD just a smidge.
But
stick
that's
with
exciting. Us. That's more exciting.
Yes, we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Oh, you guys are boring.
What did we get to?
Number 5.
Number 5. We'll have more moments to engage fans in Overwatch esports. Through that's just we've got World qualifiers and small tournaments during certain bye weeks. That's interesting. I don't know if that's going to be like Overwatch League, if that's going to be contenders, if that's going to be like the stuff that EGL have been running the first half of this year for like literally just people with access to the Overwatch client just to play in little mini tournaments.
I would love to see like more of like the Legends tournament, like stuff like that. I think would be really cool content to be like OWL sanctioned and put up on the Overwatch League channel and that kind of stuff. To do tournaments like a weekend tournament like that or a 2-week tournament like that. I mean that could be really awesome.
Yeah, and hopefully we're still going to get things like CAH come through as well. So, like, this could be a real bumper year for Overwatch esports. There could be a lot to do.
Hey, that's good for us. More work to
totally.
Go around,
Yeah, please hire us.
Yeah, seriously.
We can talk.
We can. We can talk about video games.
Okay, Ocean, we're inching closer and closer to the bit you actually want to talk about. Spring stage format. I think this was actually gone over relatively clearly in the video. So in the West, it's basically business as usual. We just have a bit of a buffer at the start that has the Pro-Am tournament before things properly kick off in April.
Okay, why is the East split into two? I'm confused by in the
East is split in 3.
In the graphic, you've got like one big thing of spring stage for the West, and then one small thing for spring stage in late May before the bye week to Mid-Season Madness, and then the East it's kind of separated differently. What do those separations mean?
It's the 3 different regions they have: Southeast Asia.
No. Sorry, it's no. If you zoom in, like the size of that graphic isn't particularly helpful. So if you look at East in the spring stage, we don't have anything until mid-April, and then it's opens, qualifiers, knockouts in that order, and then a bye, and then the actual tournament. Whereas for West, it is qualifiers, then knockouts. So there's an open stage for the Eastern region because that is where contenders teams are going to be.
That's where the contenders teams are coming in.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and thank you for the hotkey, Pat. That's huge. I didn't realize I could hold control and zoom in on my web pages.
Oh,
I learned something. Yay.
What a day. And then it's more of the same in the summer stage. There's no opens. Sorry, there's no. No, there is. It's opens, qualifiers. The bye week comes in the middle. That's what was throwing me. And then it's knockouts. Different, wildly different approaches for the 2 regions.
Yeah. And I guess it's just the need to have more teams.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's also just to be more competitive as well as have more teams.
Mm-hmm.
Although I suppose that's also not mutually exclusive, but those 2 things can happen together, right?
Yeah.
More players, more teams equals more competition. Seems like a fair enough basis.
Okay, so
I'd be.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apologies. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was going to say I'd be interested to know what the Ocean. You probably have a way better idea of this than I do. Is whether or not there have been any changes to signing dates and signing windows, whether like in the Pro-Am you have somebody in contenders have just like a ridiculous pop-off season, suddenly finds themselves filling a gap in an Overwatch League team. I think I imagine potentially a cool development.
I imagine you can sign players at any time in Overwatch League, like we've had recently.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure because we're kind of out of the COVID era. That's not really been explained, I don't think.
Well, that might be a question we can put to the community and to Sean Miller. I hope to get some clarification on. That'd be nice.
It would be interesting to have some signing window updates. It also means like if you qualify as a contenders team and just lose your best player, you're not like screwed over.
Yeah.
I can see that being a bit of a problem, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I think like the attitude generally in the community is, or at least from what I've seen, people would much rather see somebody get the bag than worry about a team performance.
Oh yeah.
So it might suck to suddenly lose because you've lost your cracked hit scan player. But like if they're going to be given even a base, even like the lowest entry salary for playing the game for 6 months, great. Let them go. Let them have it.
I can see that, but my problem would be if it happens right before a tournament, then obviously Overwatch League teams have better resources to come and replace a player than contenders teams do, right? Mm-hmm. So in that sense, it could be a little bit anti-competitive, but that's a very surprising worry. I don't think that's going to be something that happens very often. If it does happen at all, if it can happen at all, we don't know. So just theory crafting, right?
Yeah. I would love to know what's going to happen with EMEA teams because, to the best of my knowledge, all of the teams in the West are based stateside. In fact, yeah, there's no teams currently based out of Europe. Like London did it for a while, and Paris did it briefly. Nobody's there, so like
nobody's there anymore. Yeah.
Are EMEA teams just like out of luck because they can't overcome a ping disadvantage?
Can I ask how many teams are in the West now? Is it 14?
That would be a little unfair to EU teams.
What do you mean at Overwatch League?
In Overwatch League.
I would need to bring up Wikipedia because my brain doesn't work so good these days.
Let's go to Overwatch League. Because
what's the question?
My
How
guess
many teams
is
are
I
in
think
the
there's
West?
14. I think there's 14 teams in the West for
Valiant
Overwatch
moving
League.
over, yeah.
There we go.
So would that not mean that it's 3 teams from NA and 3 teams from EU qualifying? Would that not make more sense?
It would, but I still think you are not going to fly out EMEA teams to come compete in a LAN.
What if I pranked you and just said, what if they do?
I'd be great. I'd be so happy if that happened. I feel like that is not currently in anyone's budget planning. But I'm happy to be proven wrong.
It'd be a shame to see like a team perform as well as EXO did in 2022 not get a shot at one of these tournaments just because of geographical positioning.
Yeah. Like I saw recently Crandop posting the words to the effect of, "Boy, it really sucks to be a player in EMEA at the minute because it is so much easier to get a place in Overwatch League if you are already in America and already American because they don't have to worry about visas."
I mean, I'm sure like even just down to scrimming and stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Danish Mafia and LV Vegas. No, Eternal. Let's say Eternal. Danish Mafia and Eternal are scrimming.
Okay.
What, scrimming EMEA?
They're scrimming. Like, they're just scrimming with Mafia on NA ping.
Oh, interesting.
That's all I know. That's the only information I could give as like any sort of solace of hope.
Yeah. It's. I guess we can speculate all we want. At the end of the day, it's another. I guess we'll wait and see what happens. But I would love for this to be a level playing field for EMEA teams.
I mean, we also have the minimum latency feature, which might make things not as bad. It's not ideal, but it's like something that might help us.
We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
I'm trying to remain as optimistic as possible.
How dare you?
Let's go back to this announcement. I want to go through just kind of get into the meat of it here.
Delicious.
Where do you want to go from?
I mean, just where we left off, just right below the calendar.
Where did you leave off?
No, we've covered spring stage format. That was
okay.
So West teams competing in the spring stage qualifiers, 7 seeding for spring stage knockouts. Yeah, fine, makes sense. So I mean, this just gets back into the involvement of contenders teams in the East. OD and contenders teams will hold a series of competitions to determine who gets to compete with Overwatch League teams. Well, yeah, nothing.
My really exciting thing here is the mentioning of South Korea, Asia Pacific, and ANZ.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, let's keep going because they do mention all 3
Asia
regions,
Pacific,
including APAC.
Sorry,
we do have a region noticeably absent.
And China.
Which
is extremely sad. But at least what we can say is on the announcement today, on the face of things, we have still 4 Chinese Overwatch League teams. Mm-hmm. We should still have an amount of Chinese representation. I don't know how big that amount's going to be. Yeah. I don't want to give false hope or give
we just don't know.
We don't know. Yeah. But what I will say is, can I talk about APAC real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Please. Yeah, because this is big. Because what have we seen recently from APAC? If I just go into our podcast notes, we saw that Crazy Raccoon, a massive esports organization, were interested in Overwatch, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could compete for APAC, and that would make, people would pay attention to Eastern Overwatch. Yeah. Then we also could have, there was another big org looking at, from Japan, looking at things. I think this is going to be big. I think this is going to be really special having APAC included. Of course, you still got your Ground Zeroes and things like that in ANZ, but I think this is really, really big. The APAC, and also knowing the APAC community, very, very happy.
I mean, this is huge for the teams. I mean, what an inspiration! Like, what what a reason to really stay strong and not blow up your teams, but actually build synergy to stick around. And I mean, I think this could help solidify T2 across the board, particularly in the East. I mean, we saw, was it Mind Freak that just won Summer Series both times and then just blew up their roster for Run It Back? I mean, like, just completely dumpstered their whole roster. Like, yeah, I think we won't see that as much. It could also make, I mean, it puts contenders back in the conversation with collegiate. I mean, players like Tree more likely to stick with a team like Odyssey if they have a shot at OWL versus going to college. I'm not trying to say whether that would be good or bad. I think you could make arguments for both.
I think what it does, the fact that debate's there, is it does help EU a little bit. Because obviously we don't have collegiate here. Just like kind of helps us.
I think the best of both worlds would be collegiate teams. I mean, seeing more collegiate teams pop up in contenders proper to get an opportunity.
Yeah,
like this.
That makes sense.
It does go on to say in that announcement that there will be 12 teams that will compete in Spring Stage Opens.
Mm-hmm. That is just for East, just a note.
Yeah, that's for East.
So it says 12 teams that are in Open, so all the Overwatch League teams are in qualifiers, right?
Would that mean so? Yes.
That would mean probably 4 teams from South Korea, 4 from Asia Pacific. Well, actually, no, it'd probably be 6 from South Korea, and 3 from the other 2.
Makes sense.
Would make sense to me.
Yeah.
I think you could probably make a small argument for making it equal for each region, but the numbers are kind of unimportant. Like the general gist of that is about
12 teams is a sizable amount. You'll probably get at least 3 from each region, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a safer bet to say, right? Than 6-3-3 or 4-4-4. But it's exciting, and I'm really happy to see Asia Pacific obviously working with a lot of players in that region, and also South Korea as well. That's very smiley for me.
Mid-season madness moving forward is going to be 4 teams from the West and 2 teams from the East.
I think that is a little too low of amount of teams, personally.
For a double elim bracket, 10 teams. Oh, sorry. 6 teams for a double elim bracket. For some reason, I added the breakdown numbers together, so doubled it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know what the thoughts are with that one, other than the fact that, like, if you have you've got 2 teams traveling in from the East, assuming that the LAN is going to be happening somewhere in the States, as that kind of seems to be how they want to run this stuff.
That was my thinking as well.
Like, making it a less draining experience, particularly for the teams that have to travel, I don't hate. I think it's a little bit low, but yeah.
I think it's low, but I think if this is low, that's okay as long as the playoffs have a good amount of teams in them.
Yeah.
I think this is fine as long as playoffs doesn't miss the mark, right? I think that's my personal opinion on it anyways, now thinking about it a second time.
Moving forward, the West Region Pro-Am begins March 23rd. We mentioned that. Contenders teams from NA and EMEA regions an opportunity to compete against OWL teams. A series of contenders tournament in late February.
Can we pause on that real quick?
Will qualify teams to join the West Region Overwatch League teams in a 20-team field.
That's wow. For me. So I want to pause real quick because how the heck are we deciding who's in contenders?
Because that goes back to where the spots were, right?
Yeah.
But is that fair to say that all these 8 teams that are in contenders last time get a chance to compete? And
no, but that's not what's happening. Where did that go? A series of contenders tournaments in late February will qualify teams to join the West Region Overwatch League teams in a 20-team field. So we are getting some contenders tournaments in the next few weeks.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is how do we not like the contenders teams that were there last year? Why did they get a spot over open division teams or not?
My guess is probably to do with making it easy for the people that have to organize all of this.
I mean, that's a fair point. That's definitely a fair point.
I mean, are you saying Red Hawk should go through open division again?
No, what I'm saying is, for example, there are teams in open division that are better than the teams in contenders, and shouldn't they have a fair shot?
again, if you're not giving contenders teams an automatic pass into this tournament, then you're saying that all the contenders teams should go back to OD?
Okay. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are teams in OD that are better and should have a chance to prove it. So do we not have an open division tournament to get 4 more teams who can play against these contenders teams?
Now, I completely get where you're coming from with this, but I think it is a case of not this time.
Easiness.
Yeah, not this time. Like this is uncharted territory for Overwatch League. This is like let's in the same way that like last year was a bit of a all right, it's not perfect. Let's just get this new season on a game that is not out yet over and out of the way, and then we'll move on to the season after, and it'll be better. More of the same here, I think. Like,
I just think
in an ideal world, we would have had time to stand up open division and trials and contenders, and then this, but it's just not going to happen. There just isn't the time for it.
I mean, it is weird that this is announced on the 8th, and they're talking a contenders tournament in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 20 days left of the month, so...
Unless they want to do a crazy OD without any of the current... Oh, just knocked my mic. Without any of the current contenders teams, like a crazy OD, top 4 make it in, and they want to like do it in a couple of weeks. Just a couple of weekends.
This would be... we were supposed to have on Monday Zhang Wao, who is now heavily involved in the Path to Pro, like... business side, tournament ops side, just generally running
project manager.
This would have been a great week to have them on. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen until March at this point. But you know, this is all stuff we can add to the list of like, why didn't we get an OD for this? But yeah, that would have been a really, really insightful thing.
I mean, was this just a last minute decision? Did they come up with this decision 2 weeks ago and just implement it as fast as possible?
I think they're not. I think what makes things more difficult is we also got the World Cup trials happening. Especially like that's gonna be really prominent in Europe, where these teams are gonna be running these open trial events. Some of it's allegedly going to be streamed, right? So they've got all that to worry about instead of OD right now. So it's difficult. I mean, I would likely think that I would wish they didn't OD, but I can't see it.
I was hoping that there might have been, whilst you were talking, a post from Path to Pro, but...
Actually, just going to stop myself. For more details on how a team can register and qualify for Open Division and contenders, keep an eye on the Overwatch Path to Pro. So Open Division's mentioned at the bottom of this program.
Okay.
Yeah, they also mentioned Open Division when talking about the East.
I'm just going to keep a string of optimism then, that Open Division... I mean, even if it's not this time around, they want to keep it there to qualify for these programs. I'm going to keep that as optimism. The fact that it's mentioned under the West Region program.
Yeah, totally. That's why I was like hastily in the background checking the Path to Pro account on Twitter to see.
Okay, it's like we had something
anything
we think I would read. Yeah.
Oh God, what that would be thrown together so like. By the way, we have OD this weekend. You know, like
oh my God,
shit,
no, people would riot. There would be no chance of that happening. Summer stage will mirror the spring stage formats. 2 global LAN events. Yeah, I mean, I think that covers all the main.
I have a tweet for you guys.
We did kind of skip over the last half of the West Region Pro-Am, where those 20 teams are split into 4 groups of 5 for 2 weeks of round robin. Top 2 from each group move into a single elim bracket. Winning team taking $100K. This is on top of any contenders earnings. Like that's a huge prize pool.
Yeah, and that won't just be pricing for top 1 as well. It will be split, 1, 2, 3. So there is a lot of money at stake here for contenders teams potentially.
And that's not what I'm saying. The prize pool is $100K. By the way, that's what I'm saying. Just the top spot.
Yeah, they say the winning team will take $100K. So that's
That's why I was saying that. Yeah, it won't just be the top 1 getting $100K. There will be other prizes as well for second and third.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that is a much larger prize pool than we saw for any single contenders tournament throughout 2022. So worth noting.
Crazy.
So I actually just going back into things. So regional tournaments in South Korea, Asia Pacific, and Australia ANC will produce a field of 12 teams. That is their contenders tournament, right? I'm just double checking that contenders hasn't been replaced by the East schedule. It hasn't at all, right? We're good on that. No, we are good on that. My bad. Wanted to check something. So I originally misread the announcement of how teams qualify for the Eastern spots as they qualify for a massive OD instead of contenders. But you're qualifying for OD to contenders, and that's where the 4 spots.
Correct. That's when they say regional tournaments, they are referring to contenders tournaments.
Yeah. That's my bad.
Yeah. No, it is. It does. I had to go back and reread it just because it is kind of oddly worded. So I can understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
I will say there is there are some other creators on Twitter at the minute who are responding with I'm not quite entirely sure what this means. I think there is a lot of stuff here that needs clarifying. Hopefully, I mean, Sean Mills has been pretty good in the past of like where a comment has been made that has contradicted what they were aiming for. He'll come out with a clarification. So I think the best thing he can do right now is turn notifications on for Sean Mills. And if he doesn't say anything, just at him just every second of the day until we get clarification.
This calls for a bit of a tweet myself.
Oh.
Should I tweet too? I probably should.
I really hope that, just to backtrack slightly, the LA Valiant coming back to the West. I know, Ocean, you said you don't know anybody that's
been asked,
being trialed or asked or spoken to about it. Hopefully that means there's another round of opportunities for some people that maybe missed out on a slot for one reason or another in the most recent round of trials.
Yeah, I mean, one can hope. Oh, this is...
Allegedly, I'm over the daily limit for sending tweets. I haven't tweeted.
You have a daily limit for tweets?
It just won't let me tweet. I haven't tweeted, though.
Oh. It's maybe read your previous tweets and has just gone, you know?
No.
That's enough.
I'm going to refresh the page.
This.
Yeah, like we've let you have arguably too many tweets. So.
Okay.
Right, we got anything else we want to...
I mean,
we
want to go back
stage.
and watch the video one more time now that we've actually got some context to what they were trying to tell us and see if there's anything else in there. Because I think it was just information overload super fast. So I'm worried we might have missed a detail or something that could be helpful. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe just repeat.
No, I think maybe the smart thing to do at this point is take some time to digest and come back on Monday with thoughts about what is happening and what is going on.
That sounds reasonable.
And it'll give chance for Billy to weigh in as well, who I know is having a little bit of a difficult time right now.
Yeah, that sounds perfectly fair. Cool. That's a hell of an announcement.
Yeah.
That is a hell of an announcement. And yes, you were right. Phil, you were 100% right. I was skeptical. I doubted you. You were absolutely right.
Give me the crown.
Be honest with me. Did you know?
Yeah. Where'd you get the insider info?
I simply pieced it together through the power of observation. I feel like we are rapidly rounding the end here.
Yeah, it feels that way.
I did just want to say I don't know if we've got many people watching. I actually completely did not catch this tweet, and I'm a little bummed that he didn't reach out. Billy having a real rough time, facing having to live in his car until payday. And if you have any space to donate to Billy, please think about it. His PayPal link is paypal.me/SYOTOS78. That's SYOTOS78. Sierra Yankee Oscar Thomas Oscar Sierra 78. Yeah, anything you can give would be greatly appreciated. Help Billy get somewhere to stay.
Indeed.
Anything else?
No, I think that about does it.
Fantastic.
All right.
Well, this is actually, like, for a 5-minute video, way longer than I expected to be on screen for.
Yeah.
True.
We'll be back Monday with our regularly scheduled program. So
unless I get ill again.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't get ill.
I'll try.
We'll see you Monday. We'll see you Monday, Phil. I'm putting it out in the universe. We'll see you Monday.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Bye, friends.